هلو عسلامة، مرحبا بكم الناس الكل. رجعنا لكم في فيديو جديد. سوري على صوتي اليوم، مريضة شوي. مي كيما شفنا العام اللي فات في الجوجل ايو كونكت كانت عندنا فرصة باش نعملوا بودكاست، والسنة زادة جاتنا فرصة باش نعملوا بودكاست مرة أخرى. دونك مالغري صوتي ماهوش موجود، لكن حبينا نغتنم الفرصة. دونك the session it will be in English. First of all, let me to welcome Mr. Zack. Hello, Mr. Zack.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm good. I'm excited.
The event, the vibe, you like it?
Oh yeah, it's a lot of good energy in the rooms.
Great, great. First of all, Mr. Zack, can you please do an introduction to our audience about you, please?
Absolutely. So, hello. My name is Zack Akil. I'm a senior full-stack machine learning engineer and developer advocate at Google, where I've worked for 7 years, building and experimenting with full-stack machine learning applications and teaching people how to build applications as well.
That's great. Nice to meet you, Mr. Zack, and thank you so much for accepting our invitation. In your introduction, you say that you are a Googler, and this is super interactive to our audience. Can you please tell us about your journey in Google?
Absolutely. Would you like to know like a bit about the start or just the whole journey?
Start.
The start. So how I got into Google.
We are interested to.
Okay, because it's quite interesting. So I did not think or plan to actually ever work at Google. I didn't even consider it as an option. I didn't go to like a super prestigious university, and after I graduated, I studied computer science. And I basically took the first job I could get in London. I was a test developer, so I was just writing other people's tests, so it wasn't very nice. But at the time, I was really interested in AI and machine learning, so I went to all of the sort of local meetups that was running machine learning and data science. It was all like data science about like 10 years ago. And I was sort of self-learning about AI, machine learning, data science, and doing online courses. And then after I was a test developer for about, I think it was like 3 months at that first job, I like took another job that was a bit closer to what I was more interested in, because I knew I was more interested in data science and AI. So I took a job at a data science company as a Python developer. So I still wasn't a data scientist yet, but it was at that company where it was a small company and there were some opportunities to like do some local sort of work with data science projects because it was just a startup. I put my hand up and said, oh, I want to do some data science projects. And during that time, I was still going to meetups. And in fact, one of the meetups asked me to be the organizer because the organizer was stepping down. And I was like, okay, sounds like something I should do, even though I was very scared to do it. I did not think I wanted to run or give talks or anything. But I knew like if it lands on my plate and it sounds good, I should do it. And I did, and it was maybe 1.5 years at that company, running a meetup, doing some data science projects, that Google actually reached out to me on LinkedIn saying, we have this role called the developer advocate.
Congratulations.
Exactly. Yeah, I was surprised. I thought it was like a scam. I didn't believe it was real. I was like, I didn't know they did this, and it seemed like, okay. And I actually was very close to not even like take the call, because I thought this must be a scam. And I did, and then we talked about the developer advocate role, which is about learning new technology and teaching it to others, and that was exactly what I loved doing. So I love learning new technology and running these meetups now, and that was about 7 years ago, and now I'm in the same job.
It's amazing. You have to, you are enjoying the journey, and also this is the best part about the Google community and about the Googlers. We learn from each other. We learn, and then we help people to learn. Can you please give us a small idea about the podcasts you do, or about the courses you give it to audience, to people?
Absolutely. So the things I actually teach mainly is effectively the things that I teach myself as well. So the things that I'm learning, what I'm usually doing when I'm learning something is I'm taking on like a personal project. Like it's something that I'm interested in. I think one of the first ones I did was trying to build a robot that would record me playing sport. So I built like this little robot with like some 3D printing and a Raspberry Pi. And I had the idea that I wanted a robot that would do this thing, and then I built the entire thing. I tried to build the entire thing, and it was a lot of learning things. Like I didn't know how to do it all initially, and it would take a long time to do that initial prototype. And I would build this thing, and what I would learn throughout it are these little practical bits of experience of like, okay, if you want to run a specific type of AI model on a Raspberry Pi, you should like install this library and stuff. So it's all these little practical bits. So in my boot camps, you'll actually see, if you just like look on YouTube of like my name, you'll see the kind of things I talk about, and it's always in the title like practical. It's always, here is how to actually do it, and I'm not so much interested in theoretical things. I'm more interested in, here's something that I actually did, and here's how you can actually do it by plugging these things together. So it's kind of that full stack thing of not just the model, it's the model in the application that's deployed that someone can actually use. So it's always like the full end-to-end practical bit.
That's great then, guys. Just do it a theory and practice. Don't just read a comment and read something just because I see many people just watch YouTube videos, just watch and they didn't practice. You can't do that, guys, because maybe you have the idea, but you can't, as a software engineer, always the errors. You can't solve an error from the first time. You may see documentations, you may see many videos, or now people using the generative tools, for example, the Gemini or the ChatGPT, the famous one. Okay, but you may do it by yourself. Okay, then we talk about the AI, the generative AI, the Gemini. What's the best tool you use it?
So this is a question I get a lot of, like, what is the best AI tool? And I actually, in a lot of my workshops now, I'll actually have a slide that's just about what is the best AI model. And I always sort of, I say the same thing, which is, it depends. Yes. The thing is with AI models, and this is what I learned learning data science, is that when we're testing how good a model is, usually you have test data. A bit like how you'll take an exam at school, that is a set of questions that's meant to test how good you are in that subject. We do the same thing with AI models, and that's how we have these like leaderboards on the internet. If you search like the best AI model, you'll see this leaderboard of all the different models and which is at the best. And there's always like shuffling that's happening, like they're always like jumping up and down. But the thing is, like, even the model that's at the top of that leaderboard might not be the best model for you, but it might be the best model for somebody else, because the test data, so the actual like exam questions that we give to the AI model, is never going to perfectly represent all of the possible use cases we can possibly use these AI models for. So your specific use case might be performing better on a like simpler model that's not at the top of that leaderboard. So you don't always need to use like the top model, and in fact you probably get more robust, reliable performance from simpler models that are configured specifically for your use case. So there is no best model for everyone. There's a best model for you, and the only way to find that is to experiment and try different models.
Then guys, it depends the case and the data. There is no best one for everyone. And the big question now, it's the AI will take our place.
That is a major concern. So I actually, I do a lot of talks at developer boot camps, people who are coming in as junior developers now, and they're very scared because they're thinking, well, the AI can do what I can do. And the thing, the analogy that I think is very powerful at this time is this analogy of, if you are cycling to school, and let's say it takes you 20 minutes to get to school with your current bicycle, if you get a new bike, if there's a new bike that's way faster, way more efficient, you now have a choice to either put in the same effort and get to school faster, or put in less effort and get to school in the same time. So the idea that AI will replace us is that sort of latter scenario where, okay, if AI is just going to do it, I'm going to put in no work, and the same job will get done. So that's one option. But then you're forgetting the other option is, if I still put in the effort, if I use this as a tool to enhance and accelerate what I'm doing, now I can do even more. And there's also like a little bit in between where you can get a bit more and get a bit more sort of relaxing time. But it's up to you whether you want it to just do what you could do before or whether you want it to enhance what you can do and do even more. Because even in my job, so I build a lot of applications, a lot of demos, a lot of experiments. And totally, what I could build last year that would take me a week, an AI model can basically do in a matter of minutes. But now, me with that tool, I can build something that would have taken me like 6 months, but I can now do that in a week. Oh. So it's more like, it's not going to replace me, but it is going to make me a lot more sort of accelerated in what I'm doing.
Great. Thank God. Just calm. It's just a tool, and they will help us to get more better results in a better time.
Exactly, and it's just a tool. Like it's a person who's not good at the task probably is not going to get the best results compared to somebody who is good at that task. So experts are always going to be needed to guide these tools, especially in use cases where the stakes are high. So for things like medical use cases, in education, where you're enabling teachers, like you always need a teacher sort of using the tool rather than trying to cut out the teacher. The teacher has so many expertise that are needed because built into these models, there's this risk of hallucination. So for very sort of high stakes applications, experts are always going to be needed.
Yes, that's great. Many information, guys. Just focus. Okay, we have a part in our podcast called Expert Advice. Can you please give us the gold advice? Maybe you can give it to person in the tech domain. It's a general advice. It's not
general advice. Just golden, the best advice. So, given the audience students, I want to think of like the golden advice for students, because what I've accidentally done in my career that happened to be like incredibly valuable is that I only did things that I was actually interested in doing. And this is almost like selfish, but also lucky for me, because what I was genuinely interested in doing was building things and learning things. So if there was a coursework to like, follow these steps and you'll build a to-do app, I'd get quite bored of that. I'd want to like build my own thing. So naturally, like if you look at my GitHub, you'll see all the projects that I've done, and they're all just kind of sort of silly projects, but they're very personal to me. Yes. And all the things that I build now, all the stories that I tell, all the demos that I build, they're always solving a problem that's real for me. Because the easiest person to build for is yourself, because you can kind of test, like, does this work for me, yes or no, and it's very fast with the feedback. So build for yourself first, build projects to learn, and that's your portfolio. And to be honest, during my interviews at Google, we spent most of the time talking about those projects. Oh. We didn't spend, I don't think we spent any time talking about my career, my previous work, or even my school. It was, show us this thing that you built for yourself. Because in doing that, in building these projects for yourself, you are showcasing one of the skills that AI can't do yet, and I don't think it will be able to do, and that is problem identification. So you're able to showcase that you've learned about a technology, you've learned that it exists, you've learned that, say, we have AI technology now, but you also learned how to apply it and identify a problem where you can actually use it. If you just follow coursework and follow tutorials, you don't learn that. You don't actually, and you might learn that, but you don't show it. Because you can do all the tutorials, you can do 1 million tutorials, but it doesn't tell me that you know how to identify a problem. So that's where independent personal projects, I think, are the most valuable thing you can do, because it's showing that you can independently identify a problem, apply a technology to create a solution, and that's something that is so valuable, and it's something that in the interview at Google, all I did was talk about my personal projects.
Great. That's super inspiring. Then, guys, don't do the déjà vu project. Try to do your own project, your own idea, and I think we can learn from those projects because the problems help us to learn. When we get a problem, maybe it takes many time to solve this problem, but you learn this thing, solve this problem, and then when you publish your project, it's not just a GitHub project, but it's almost a big idea.
A story.
Yeah. This the word. It's a story. You start from just a simple idea, maybe, then. The best thing about this is you are not working in company. It's your own project. You don't have deadlines, maybe. You don't have instructions. You don't have those maybe problems. Just you can. Okay, when I'm starting with the Google community at the GDSC, Google Student Club, the manager tell us, just do it. Just try it. Try. We want you to learn from those experience or those this experience interior, maybe we can say. Okay, then you have any other thing we want to add?
Yeah, on that. So there's this thing of, I see quite a few people where I'm speaking to them and they're students or in their boot camps, and I'll say like, oh, what are your personal projects? And they have like one big project, like, oh, I have this app that I'm building, and it's like I'm adding all these things. And I think that's cool. It's cool to build something that's big and it's like maybe got all these different features. However, I think you can learn a lot more, a lot quicker by doing a lot of smaller projects. Because if you build one big project, guess what? You're only going to be setting up your GitHub once. You're only going to be setting up authentication once. You're only going to be setting up your framework once. You're only going to be choosing this thing, and then you're kind of stuck in it. But I think we've all maybe experienced that, where you're working on a project and you kind of can't wait for it to finish so that you can work on the next thing. And that's where you actually get to apply learning. So if I'm working on like a web app, I'm kind of excited to work on the next one because already on the current one, I have things that I know I would have wanted to do differently. Yes. And I think that's so valuable, is to build a lot of smaller projects, and maybe like, and it's okay to not finish projects. Yes. Because I heard once, is like those unfinished projects are the best fertilizer for your future ideas. Because quite often I'm like copy and pasting code from my other projects that I didn't finish. So an unfinished project is fine, like that's allowed, that's expected. We expect all developers to have lots of unfinished projects. And then out of that, maybe out of 5 unfinished, you get 1 that you actually finish. And it's really good because of all those like unfinished projects that you're pulling from. So build quickly and build many smaller projects as well. I think you learn a lot there, and you get to actually apply the learnings by iterating.
Okay, then be patient. You can be a hero from just 3-month bootcamp or one expert from 1 month YouTube video. That's okay then. Thank you so much.
No worries, my pleasure.
I'm super happy to have you today, and we have many things to try it. Okay, because you told us about projects, about how we can learn from scratch, because you start from scratch also, and maybe inshallah one day we're gonna be a Googler like Mr. Zack.
Who knows?
Yeah. Okay, then thank you so much, and merci pour votre attention. See you في الفيديو الجاي، وإن شاء الله تكونوا استمتعتوا واستفدتوا، وباي باي. Done. Thank you.
That's good.
Yes.
Thank you. That's
Thank
good.
you so much.